Good morning from the Sea of Galilee. This is Stephen Henley again from Legatus. We are looking forward to today's activities, going to Capernaum and to Jerusalem. And our pilgrims are having such a fantastic time. They can't even believe that we're not even halfway through this trip. Steve and Janet are doing a fantastic job. And stay tuned for more details.
On our way to Capernaum. Jesus lived with St. Peter in Capernaum for 3 years. This is where he taught, in the synagogue. Here's a sign that says the church one way, synagogue the other, and we're arriving now at the Church of St. Peter's Memorial, where his house was, right underneath this church. So here we've just arrived in the church at Capernaum, built over the house of Peter, where Jesus lived with Peter and Andrew and their families. And we're going to have Mass here today. And this reading of the Gospel took place in the synagogue at Capernaum. And that right there is the synagogue where Jesus said, "Eat my flesh and drink my blood."
Do not work for food that perishes, but for the food that endures for eternal life, which the Son of Man will give you. We humbly implore you, by the same Spirit, graciously make holy these gifts we have brought to you for consecration, that they may become the body and blood of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, at whose command we celebrate these mysteries.
Very nice statue of St. Peter. But after Mass, I love to give my talk under the trees, defending the Eucharist, and how Janet and I, as Protestants, came to discover the Catholic teaching. The synagogue is there, and the harbor is just right there on the other side of the church where we were. That means Peter's house is right between the synagogue and the business section of the harbor. That's like living next door to the governor. When you have a whole city that's huge like this, it goes on for acres, and your house is right there, that means you are a very important civic figure, and you're not an idiot. You are a very astute businessman, and you've got a house in the best neighborhood in the city. So just mention that, so when people mention Peter, remember he would have been a Legatus member had he been alive now.
And he's the patron of Legatus.
And he's the patron of Legatus. Very good, exactly. This white synagogue was not here during the time of Christ, but this black foundation was. It says the late 4th century AD white synagogue there was from the 4th century, built upon the remains of the synagogue of Jesus, which is right there. So when we touch this stone, we're touching where Jesus walked.
Hey, Farrell and Wilson and Ashton, it's Mama over here in Capernaum. We love you and you're in my prayers. God bless you. I just said hello to the oldest grandchildren. Now I'm saying hello to Carter, Riley, Avery, Catherine, Gabriel, Bryson, and McKenna, and little Mia. Mama is in the Holy Land, and it's such a beautiful experience, and you're in my prayers. Love you.
We're watching a movie about the discovery of the ancient boat. And there is the boat right there from 2,000 years ago. The Israeli flag flies proudly as we are boarding our fishing boat going out on the sea. Our folks getting on our nice big boat, the King David. Right there, King David boat. We're going to go out on the Sea of Galilee. And they said to me, okay, here's your job. If you're going to be with us, you have a job. And they handed me a toilet plunger with an extension onto the handle. So it was like a 4 or 5 foot long toilet plunger and a hammer. And they said, you do this, kerplush, kerplush, kerplush in the water. And then every 3 or 4 times you stop and you take the hammer and you hit the side of the fiberglass boat, go bang, bang. So I'm, okay, I'm dutiful, I'm obedient. I'm going, kerplush, 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 bang, bang, kerplush, kerp. And I look at those guys, I said, wait a minute, you're having fun with me, aren't you? You're making a joke with me. My one-man band out in the middle of the Sea of Galilee. They said, no, you need to do this because as we come into the circle, the big net is around. And you make this noise and the fish swim away from the noise. They're afraid of the noise and they swim away, and no matter what direction they go, they hit the net.
In the sunshine, and men build their houses near to it. Birds build their nests, and every kind of life is happier because it is there. The River Jordan flows on the south into another experience when we go on that day. It's very salty, very bitter. And people normally ask, how come if those are two bodies of water fed by the same source, why is one so fresh and one is so salty? Us versus the word dies in us, and sometimes we become bitter because we're not doing any activity with what we know of our faith. My personal opinion, of course, you don't have to agree with me, but that's what I think. And of course you could take this parable and, analyze that on various other levels, but that's what I personally think. I also want to say that some people ask me, it's hazy.
We arrived for lunch at Tangerine Restaurant off the Sea of Galilee, and everybody got settled in, and we had a lot of salads and St. Peter's fish, the same kind of fish Jesus ate. Some people got the fillets, but obviously you got the whole deal there. You did? Good for you. Can't understand guys who get fillets there, You got the whole thing too.
Well, minus without the head.
Well, that's all right.
Look how good that
Without
is.
the head, but you still got the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's getting St. Peter's fish. There's a few.
In order to allow people to stretch their legs a little bit and also use bathrooms. Get an ice cream or a coffee, and then we'll continue to Jerusalem.
We got off the bus at the rest area, and it's a nice stop along the way. First stop, the restrooms, but then the ice cream is beyond resisting. So everybody headed for the ice cream. It's a hot day today, and it was really very much enjoyed.
Hold on a second. Is that a bug?
Yeah. There's a Muslim outside his truck praying. To the rest of the way to the Church of the Visitation. Traditionally, Janet and I have always shared our conversion story. It's about an hour drive to Ein Karem, where we get off the bus again. And the conversion story takes about an hour, so I'll get started. Some of you have heard it already, like Steve and Debbie. So why don't you guys, you can just take a nap. Anybody else who's heard it before, feel free to take a nap. And if you're not in, nap too. Snaking their way down to the bathrooms here. We just arrived in Ein Karem for the visitation. All that drive we had, Mary was walking all of that way. Look at now, everybody's winding their way down. We're coming to the restrooms. And then our ultimate goal then is right up that hill. There's a steeple, and I can't see it right here. Almost to the top of this hill through the Church of Visitation. Here comes the group. Well, traditional site where she met Elizabeth. And here's our folks coming in. Here is Zechariah doing his service in the temple. This is when the angel came and said, you're going to have a son. Here's Mary arriving here to visit Elizabeth here in Ein Karem. And here, because it's so close to Jerusalem, Bethlehem, this is also the slaughter of the innocents. And the early tradition in the Proto-Evangelium of James said that John was hidden behind a rock, so he was not killed. And that's the rock that from the early church says where John the Baptist was hidden behind that rock. So we're going to tell the story here and pray the mystery of the Rosary of the Visitation. Here's Mary, the Queen of Heaven and the Mother of the Church. Here's Ephesus, 431, the Third Ecumenical Council, where they declared Mary as the Mother of God. There you have the Battle of Lepanto, where the Muslims were pushed back into North Africa, and it became the feast day of the Most Holy Rosary. And there's Duns Scotus, which helped us understand the Immaculate Conception. And there's Mary, Queen of Heaven, Revelation chapter 12, verse 1. Our beautiful bus. We just unloaded all the luggage and everybody's now in their rooms. We went right in the lobby there. Here's the beautiful Notre Dame Center. Vatican flag, look at that. There's a Catholic place here. The Vatican flag flying, and there's Our Lady and Jesus. And here's where we're going to be staying for the next 4 days. So I hope and think everyone's going to like it. What's nice is it's right across the street. There's the city walls of Jerusalem, and there's the Dome of the Rock, and there's Mount of Olives. The Holy Sepulchre is just right there. It's hard to see, but the Holy Sepulchre is right there. This is the whole story of salvation history right there in front of our eyes, and we're going to be here for the next 4 or 5 days. We're going to be having dinner right up there one of the nights at the Cheese and Wine Barn. So welcome to Jerusalem. Dinner's pretty good here, and lots of selection. There's going to be lamb and rice and potatoes and vegetables and pasta with cheese. And here comes more food. There's more chicken. Here's our dining room ready for our group to come in, and I got talking with everybody and didn't get as many pictures as I wanted, but good night, Notre Dame. We'll see you tomorrow as we head off to Bethlehem for the whole day.